Hello, everybody. Nice to see you.
Welcome. It's another episode of Citiz3n Glitch. Today we've, of course, got the wonderful Hidden Frog, aka Nicholas Paul, back with us again, because if it was not for his insight on the very first episode that we did, right, on what is sovereignty, what does it mean to you, and he talked about art as sovereignty, today's episode would not be possible. But I want to introduce you to Yoshi, because if it wasn't for incredible conversations that I had with Yoshi at TezCon, we would not be having today's episode at all. So let me introduce you to singer-songwriter, physical artist, talk show host, Renaissance man extraordinaire, Mr. Yoshi.
What an intro. Thank you for that, Red. It's a pleasure to be here. So much so that I think I want to start us off with a song, and it's called So Grateful. Does that sound good to you? All right. Here we go. I'm getting a echo in my headphones, so I'm going to take them off and just trust the sound. So I won't be able to hear, but I'm watching you guys. So if something happens, go like this. Okay? And thank you.
Eyes open every morning, forward my feet keep going, fulfilling needs, pursuing dreams. Yeah, things are where they're supposed to be. 'Cause life is great and the love is strong, and I thank the sun for tagging along. Feels so good. I sing a thankful song. Yeah, I am so grateful to be alive. Yeah, I am so grateful to be alive. Just to be alive. I am so grateful to be alive. 'Cause even night contains starlight, though I can always see the sky. A filter change within my brain, let in the peace release the pain. 'Cause life is great and love is strong, and I thank the sun for tagging along. Feels so good. I sing a thankful song. Yeah, I am so grateful to be alive. Yeah, I am so grateful to be alive. Just to be alive. I am so grateful to be alive.
Thank you so much for bringing some music here today. So I'd like to get it into our glitch topic. For those of you who I think I mentioned before, on the very first episode, Nicholas and I talked about what does sovereignty mean to you, and well, Nicholas said it was art, of course. So if you wouldn't mind, Nicholas, kind of, elaborating on that a little bit more for the folks who missed our very first episode.
You know, it's very much, it's just freedom. It's artistic freedom. It gives you the same foundation that you need to build everything else in life is the same thing that you do in a painting. And it's the same thing if you build something else in life. It's just everything's another form of art, no matter what you do. If you call it work, it's still another form of art. And I'm still just in that little hey, I think I got hypnotized there for a second. No, art's freedom for me, and it's about my expressions, no matter if it looks like I'm just spreading a bunch of blobs on the painting, or I'm making my fridge of aliens. It's very much it doesn't. It's as long as it's my message. It's my stain on this planet.
And because it's like not direct face-to-face communication, there are layers where you can, in a way, embed layers of sovereignty through symbolism, metaphor. And that's the power of the art. And what I've always felt behind the music is that if I were to just say these things to people, it would feel preachy. But because I'm able to sing them behind a melody, people can connect and put their guard down. And that to me is ultimate sovereignty, to have my messages that I want people to hear heard.
Exactly. It's what you can't fit in a book, you can sing in a song, And it's different for everyone, but the way you it's the same for Red, it's the same for you, it's the same for me, it's the same for the robots, it's the same for everyone, it's the same for everyone in the community. It's universal, the universal law.
I love that. And the way you describe it as freedom makes me think of something I've been reflecting on a lot lately, and that's the pursuit of happiness.
Oh my God, are you reading my mind? If you watched the last couple of streams, are you trolling me? What's going on, Yoshi?
I have a song called that. And it's literally stopping to acknowledge that that's not a destination. It's literally sovereignty comes in layers. And throughout your whole life, you can uncover more and more complex nuances of what it is, especially with the uphill battle we have to fight to experience it.
But it kind of always is, and if it's not uphill, then where is it going? It's going downhill. And if you're not in alignment, where are you? You're out of alignment, right? So also, I wanted to talk a little bit about the other thing that kind of prompted this discussion. So any of you guys who attended TezCon, you actually already can feel and relate to what I'm talking about. There was so much love that went into putting on TezCon. There were people that got on a plane to come here because it's not really, I feel like it's not even really just about Tezos anymore. It is about Tezos, of course, but it was about connecting with these particular artists and creators on TezCon. And Yoshi, when he first came in, when I first encountered him, because I do think it's kind of important to include that, he wasn't feeling so hot. I don't really want to necessarily spill all the details.
Go ahead.
You want to?
It's fine.
Okay, you guys. So we were doing Spaces, my favorite episode of Spaces ever, in Fendel's living room. Fendel is a vibe. You enter his house, him and Jane, his beautiful partner, with a radiant smile, and it's literally like you're entering a magical house of Lord of the Rings. There's instruments everywhere. There's pianos, in the house. There's percussion instruments, his little studio. And Yoshi had been throwing up for
Several
hours, But I mean, we shouldn't be laughing. It's funny now, but like I was really feeling bad. I'm like, oh my God, he's suffering. But why? He did not want to go home. He wanted to keep just trying to host the show because he has that much love for what we were doing at TezCon. Did you want to elaborate on that a little bit, Yoshi?
So my whole adult life, I've had this weird mystery stomach bug that comes about once a month, usually around high stress, sometimes related to alcohol, but it's not really like ever a hangover. It's just one of the triggers, I feel like. So, sure enough, after a long day of travel and sleeping in an unfamiliar place, I woke up really dizzy, threw up, and had one of my episodes that happened where I literally can't stop for like a whole day. Can't keep anything down. But I've been dealing with it my whole life. So I sucked it up. And it's like, this space has to happen. People are relying on it. People come here every week for it. It's known for being consistent. If I gotta step away and vomit mid-set, it's what it is. Thankfully, we had all the support there. We had Findel, we had Flexosaurus Rex, we had Red there. We had Blang's, Tezos Gaming's had like a whole audio setup. So it worked. But yeah, my first time ever getting to meet Red finally in person was like walking out of the bathroom like sweating and red-faced, like I'm dying. That was your first impression of me.
No, it's fine, but like even though I would have respected if you were just like you needed to rest, the fact that you were trying, so much to keep it going, just because of how strongly you felt about the community, and it's the community of artists and how much people really care about art and how much people really care about music within the Tezos community was a big deal. And I had said a couple of things to you, but let's skip to the thing that really prompted today's conversation, although the whole vibe of TezCon definitely had that in it. I said, because we got on the topic of sovereignty somehow, and I said to Yoshi, talk to me about sovereignty in matters of love. And he said, okay, well, let me tell you a story about how I almost walked away from the love of my life. And I'll let you go from there, because he's been with his wife for 16 years, y'all. Okay?
And I did technically walk away for my sovereignty at a time where if I hadn't, I don't think we would be as strong of a relationship as we are today. First of all, my wife is my soulmate. I genuinely believe we've been partners in multiple lives. I feel like if I were to give up on a relationship, the universe would stop and stand still. Very, very much meant to be my partner in life. And I knew that from the moment I saw her. It was absolute love at first sight. About 2.5 years in, we decided to move up to Asheville. And she was doing delivery driving. I was gigging. Really was a big risk to move away from our families and into basically a hippie town. So, long story short, that didn't go well. And we kind of started falling apart, trying to survive life, bills.
Yeah.
And then she kind of got a little lost in the sales world. And I couldn't stay. It wouldn't have been right. I don't think we would have been able to make it. So I had to make a very conscious decision, knowing it was going to be really brutal to walk away. I went back home to Atlanta, left her at Asheville, figure her shit out. It was not pretty. She hated me. It was like a good year and a half.
Sure, she didn't hate you, Yoshi.
The emotion was there, even if it wasn't like genuine. But that's actually a whole nother conversation, because I believe hate is only possible as a product of love gone wrong.
Huh.
Hate doesn't exist without love, in my eyes. Nobody just starts hating.
Yeah.
It comes from something deeper. So that's what I mean by that. We had to grow and feel our feelings. She had to realize what she wanted. I had to realize what I wanted. And I went back to school for massage therapy and like really got into my health. And about a year later, we met up, tried again, fell back in love.
But I don't think something like that. Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, I mean, like, look. I don't know if it was, when you say fall back in love, I don't think that it was ever without love, right? Because the decision to be sovereign in your choices, because you didn't like how she was getting lost into the very corrupt, corporate sales world. And I know that well, because I've been, excuse me.
Me too.
Addicted to that myself.
I tried it.
Yeah. But like you saying, I don't love this. And, oh, hey, J-Tess. J-Tess is saying hello to us. Thank you so much for reposting the stream, buddy. We love you. We're going to have you on here at some point. He's a homie. We've known him. Oh, I've known him for a long time. Hidden, I don't know if you know J-Tess, but he's also in the Teslas community. But, like, sometimes you have to make those decisions. So you making that decision to say, hey, I need to be on my own right now and you need to figure your shit out. Every great love story begins and ends with self-respect. And I think sometimes what a lot of people forget is making the best decision for yourself is also the best choice for the other person.
Right.
If you're not being selfish, right? Like, as much as I'm not a Christian, and I'm not, there's always some beautiful truth in the statement, love your neighbor as yourself, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not saying love yourself first before your neighbor, or love your neighbor at the expense of, sacrificing yourself. It's love your neighbor as yourself. So as you were saying, it was with love that you said we need to be apart for a while. It was with love for her so that she could see what you stand for, and love for you so you could be the man and the things that you stand for. Isn't that right, Yoshi? See, I'm getting all fired up. It's all the
that's 100% correct, because I wasn't being enabled to be the full potential of who I can be, and therefore I wasn't able to be a good example or a provider or any of the above. So as much as it feels like I left because of her, it really was a deep down, like, I need to become more worthy of this amazing connection and actually figure out how to tell the story and finish it.
No, I mean, like, so it was also you just feeling like you needed to level up and be who you were supposed to be. And there's a lot that comes to, like, we talk a lot about saving others, but every hero's journey is you have to save yourself first.
Right.
You have to do things that only you can do. If you have a drinking problem, you're the only one that can quit. If you have, a confidence problem in terms of, like, your own self-sufficiency, that's up to you. Not saying that people can't support, but at the end of the day, there are certain things you need to be able to do yourself. And go ahead.
You mentioned Christianity there, and I agree with what you said, and I don't want to get too far away from it.
Yeah.
Which is that the consciousness and the sovereignty combined create what I like to call Christ consciousness.
Right.
I'm not a Christian. I grew up Jewish.
And you're still Jewish.
I'm non-denomination. I don't know what I would call. I guess. What's the word? I'm not an atheist. I definitely believe in something. But what it comes down to is what I was going to say is that in every world religion, when I hear how it's phrased, I hear oneness. Through me, you can find the kingdom of heaven, Christ said. The book says, love your neighbor as yourself. You know, those two phrases are not far off from we're all one.
It's not.
So that's where I stand strong and firm in that I don't need to pick a world religion to see that they're all saying that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's absolutely true. We're all one, but that doesn't mean we don't make, decisions in sovereignty. Because if we don't make these decisions to say, hey, I take a stand on this, and I take a stand on that, then we're not actually leading the oneness in the way that
you're not honoring it.
You're not living it. You're not honoring it. I mean, I'll just yap for a little bit, and I know, Nicholas, I'm not forgetting about you. People get very confused with compassion on its own, right? Because compassion on its own, what does that turn into? That turns into you're a fucking doormat, right? Like, oh, their childhood was so hard, or oh, their dad just died, or whatever the fuck it is. And then you're just like letting them do shit, letting them like take it out on you, whatever, whatnot, right? But wisdom and compassion says, I see that you're suffering, right? And compassion literally is just to suffer with, right? But wisdom is like also the decision to say, regardless of how they're suffering, I need to help make decisions to lead this person towards discovering their own highest power, being their own truest self. And I can't do that if I'm spoon feeding them everything, if I'm prompting them like AI to do everything. There are things that they need for their own growth. And Nicholas and I have talked about this quite at length. Isn't that right, Nicholas?
Yes, it's very much, I don't know, I believe everything's universal. And so, like, if I can sell lemonade, I can sell a factory full of lemonade. If I make an evil factory of lemonade and I sell my little lemonade stand, make it evil, what I'm trying to say is intentions matter. And if you have malintent and are dishonest, it's just not going to give you what you want as a result.
No,
it never will, and you'll always have it in the back of your mind. Like you'll always know that's not exactly what you wanted.
Even when you achieve what you think you wanted, you'll feel empty. And again, that goes back to ignoring your sovereignty completely, turning it off, if you will, pretending it's not a thing.
Like, the biggest thing I've learned about living on a reserve and going in and out of group homes, like, there was one care home I was in. It was the biggest care home I've ever seen. Like, it was 3 stories tall, like, had a basement that was massive. It was 2 living rooms. It had 6 bedrooms. It had a workshop, a garage, a big backyard. It was like every kid's dream home. And I was about 13 when I moved in there. But before that, I got banned from a company. But that company also wasn't allowed to restrain kids anymore. And since they changed the laws in Canada when I was in care, so I got moved to a new company. And I realized as soon as that difference was when at that first company, it was basically like boot camp, it felt like. And at first it didn't feel like that, but the more mistakes I made or things I did or bad things or good things or just anything, it felt like I was a dog getting treated with a reward, right? But when I went to this new company, or I should say my parents transferred me to this new company, with my social worker, I remember I was at this house. It was not too far from where I live right now. And I was in their basement for the first intake few nights to figure out what was going on. And me thinking it was going to be like all the other companies, I punched a hole in the door. I got all mad. And then this worker, I had to have three staff on shift at once because they said I was at risk. And I remember I punched a hole in this door, and this worker just said, "He's just skin and bones. He's probably not even 10 pounds soaking wet." And I was used to workers just being dinks, and so I kind of just sat there and I kind of just couldn't help but laugh. And so I opened the door and I said, like, "What are you guys gonna do?" They said, "Nothing. We'll just leave you. You want to punch more holes in the door? Go for it." And so I said, I didn't really know what to do. No one ever told me something like that before. And so, me being the 11-year-old I was, this is, I remember I looked at all three of them. They're we'll call them Bob, Bill, and Jimmy. And I remember Bob was the one who said that. And he ended up being a worker that worked with me for the next 5 years. And so we're all three of them were there. And I remember everyone who kept coming in there was just, there was a difference between trained people who wanted to teach these kids. Say if I stayed at the other company, I would have been school, get out of care, that's it. That's all it would have been. And even if I, like at the time, yeah, my workers were taking me to the gym at like 10, right? And that's all I could do. Or I could go sit in a giant shed and have literally nothing, or just play with the toy room that was locked, you know? But it was very much just to do the same thing, speedrun life. And this company was all about just taking it slow. I find when I got there, it kind of unlocked that little artistic freedom in my mind. Because I remember one day after, fast forward like 6 months, I get that Hearn house, I called it Gigantor. And it was this massive house. And I remember one night I snuck downstairs at 1 a.m. And I haven't had outbursts or anything in years. And I wanted to cook craft dinner, but I had no clue how. And cook craft dinner, and I had no clue how. And so I got out my trusty frying pan, and already wrong first steps. And then the same worker that called me skin and bones, he taught me a lot about gaming, and like actually pretty much unlocked the whole thing where I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't even understand what a computer was. He looks at me and just says, "What are you doing?" So cooking craft dinner. And then for the first time ever, I was like thinking in my brain, I really convinced myself, like I was like, I'm doing it. I'm an adult. I'm a big man now. I can make my own craft dinner. I'm gonna get myself a midnight snack. I'll cook it for you, but you go upstairs and go back to bed, or you get a snack, whatever you want. You can have candy, whatever you want, no matter what. I was like, okay, which is kind of even showing him both ways. He's just thinking whatever I want to do within reason, what they would always say. But I never could push that reason. So me being the stubborn ODD case I am, I continued to cook my craft dinner in the frying pan, and I got to about pouring the water in and the little thing in, and then he just grabs the pan and he looks at me and says nothing, and then goes outside and puts it in the composter bin. And during all this, I was like, before he grabbed the frying pan, I was just like being a dink instead of just being the casual punch a hole in the door thing. And it kind of reminded me, like what you said, that negativity. He came in there saying, "I got you," and then I'm like, "I got me." And sometimes that's like, I don't know, what you said in your story there, like it is very much like what I was thinking of. It seems so different with love, because he put that in composter and then told me to go to bed, and I was in such shock to where I just kind of realized he was right. He did kind of tell me he would make it. I could have just had Oreos, I could have had candy, I could have had a nice warm snack made, and I could have been cozy, watch a little TV, and then go to bed. But I chose to make craft dinner in a frying pan, and then the next night, he came to me and said, "Oh, let me teach you how to cook craft dinner." And so I learned how to cook craft dinner, and to this day, I still keep boxes of craft dinner upstairs, and my partner is now loves it more than me. So it's exactly, and like for me, it's like, oh, my brain goes in weird ways, but like when you said like you guys needed space away, for me, it's like I never had a relationship up until a couple of years ago. So for me, I was always in a pretty much a box all my life. So when it came to that, I started to realize, like, as bad as it was, I was kind of cut off from love of my family. And so yeah, I had a middle school girlfriend or a high school girlfriend, even though I didn't go to high school or middle school. But even then, I always thought to myself, why should I? Why? I was waited, and I would try to make friends throughout care. But like, I have a few friends who stayed with me throughout the whole time, which is amazing. But I would always think to myself, I want to wait. And my workers would always tell me, growing up with a bunch of millennials, that's what they would say. I'm the last, barely Gen Z, they would say. And
you're the youngest of Gen Z. I think you're like the cutoff, really, of Gen Z.
I'm not sure what I am. You know, I'm half native, half whatever.
No, but you say all the Gen Z things all the time when you post.
I do. You know, I think
I
it
have
left an
to ask
imprint on
Brock
me.
what you're saying because you're speaking another language.
I've written so much throughout care. Like I got tired. I was so bad at spelling to where I just started making my own abbreviations and words. And then once I put that into Gronk, it got real bad because it started making sense. And so, you know, and it made sense to more than just me. But I find that actually amazing. Like, not many people can say they left and came back and were stronger. That's
well, there's also
beautiful.
that catch. Thank you. That means a lot because there's a lot of people that try to say the worst advice ever. Honestly, it's like, well, if it didn't work before, there's a reason. You know,
well,
like,
you know what? Like, sometimes that's true. Sometimes that is true, right? Sometimes you're going back to toxicity just because it's familiar and you have like the fear of the unknown. I'm not saying I've ever gone back to an ex-boyfriend before. Obviously not. I guess maybe not obviously. But
no, it happens more than
I mean people do it, but a lot of times when they go back, it's a reminder as to why that they left. Right? But
Yeah.
I think everything is situational, and then there's sometimes when, you know, they come back together and they come back together stronger. Or here's another interesting, you know, kind of predicament. A lot of times with very, very powerful connections, there is a separation period. Even if it's not like, oh, you a whirlwind romance and then you separate and then you come back. Some of the best love stories were people that met across the globe. They went through a huge period of separation before they were able to merge their lives together. But part of what's happening during that separation is something similar to what you talked about before. Being able to craft, interesting choice of words there, Nicholas, to craft yourself into being sovereign enough to be worthy of not only the connection, but to be living the life that you are meant to live. Yeah. Right? Because Nicholas and I were talking about our perspective on relationships just a little bit earlier prior to the stream. And I said, you know, for me personally, and I know for Nicholas it's true too, and I've had the pleasure of speaking with Rhea, his lovely girlfriend, a couple of times. Like, if I'm personally not with someone who wants to be part of my mission, 10x my mission, to where it is our mission to, you know, make the frequency better, brighter, you know, more free, then get the fuck away from me. I mean, seriously, you know, I mean, like, and I understand that different people like operate in different ways. There's all kinds of different dynamics, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you should be so strong in your mission in life that other person literally is part of accomplishing that. I know that's true for you too, Yoshi.
It
with
is.
your
I do
wife.
have a response to that.
Yes.
But first, I want to respond to something Nicholas said.
That Nicholas said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
The fact that you wanted to wait. It's a lot of premature wisdom that I relate to. When I got out of college, which I left early, I didn't finish. I went straight to getting in a starter home, getting a really decent job as a server at an Italian restaurant, and I was just working, hustling, gigging, and I spent the whole 2 years not dating, but celibate. Like straight out of college, I was like, I am not interested. Do not distract me with your womanliness. And I've always been a little bit of a hopeless romantic, and I know that about myself.
But
So
I want to just stop you for just a second. Hopeless, romantic, that's an oxymoron way that we talk about that in our society. To me, you are the embodiment of a hopeful romantic, an optimistic romantic, a reality-based living romantic. So carry on, now that I've added my 2 cents to who you are to me.
I like that. I am now a hopeful romantic. Before I met the love of my life, I was rather a hopeless romantic, which is why I decided to not have any hope. And you know how we talk about trustlessness and how that's
We
different.
did talk about that. Yeah,
How we
have.
talk about permissionlessness.
We talk about all of these things.
Those
yes,
are very
yes.
good things in those terms and contexts. So I see that hopeless love in me as something that served a purpose. And it was not no hope. It was the not needing the hope. It was a non-factor at that stage of my life, which let me become more of a complete and sovereign individual, which then enabled me to do more than just see the love of my life at first sight, and actually grab onto and live it. So, sorry, it's a little bit of a strong response to the.
Don't be sorry. We're Americans.
It's like a deeper understanding, a very clear vision, and it's almost very simple. And that's what a lot of people forget is life's not that complex, and when it does, like, it's like when you guys were talking about Bob Marley, it's like I was thinking about that quote he said was something like, if it's your relationship's easy, it won't be something, or like you, and if it's hard, it's going to be good. And you know, it's about the work you put in, and like when you do wait, rather, unlike me, where the 7 years of care, or you just aren't interested, or like one day you wake up and you're like, yeah, it's very much, I thought I was going into it blind, and then I realized I really wasn't, you know. And the more I took action and the more I did things with my partner, and the more she did things for me that I've never had done for me. Being my care workers weren't allowed to give me presents other than my family, and my care workers were specifically my workers. They weren't allowed to be my friend, even though at that one house it was very much nicer with the craft dinner story. But it's some people forget that love is in all shapes and forms, and like everyone needs all of the same like love, like just as much as like you're kind to someone at the diner, right? You set up, or it's a dollar store and you help someone put their cart and help the elder move things into the car, or you just help your partner move things in the car. It's the same type of love. And you know, it's some people will have relationships and forget that, you know, and that's what I found the most. Like that's what every time I would hear my friends or like my workers talk about it, and I would sit there thinking about like someone, a care worker who says things like what y'all said or different things, and like I'd be just sitting there listening, and I'd be like, I would think if I could say something, I wouldn't, but when they did ask me, I would say it. And then it didn't kind of click until like about like when I was about 15, 16 that they actually took my advice, and then but I never got to know what happened. And that was the part that was like, I didn't hear anything bad, but I also didn't hear anything good.
No news is often good news.
Exactly. And so I took that as positive, and I'm very glad I did. But it's very much a learning experience. You never stop. Like my grandparents, they've been married for almost over 70 years, and it's all about sticking together. They said on and off. They used to, for some years they would sleep in 2 separate bedrooms, and then some years they wouldn't. And then now they have like 2 little mini homes next to each other, and they just like
That's
whatever
beautiful.
they want.
They're doing whatever it takes to make it work.
Whatever they want. Yeah, exactly.
I would love to play y'all my love story song.
Yay!
Seems like the appropriate
A love
timing.
story song. Is this one on the blockchain, Yoshi?
It is not yet.
Okay,
One
we're
of the
gonna
newer
talk about
songs.
that in a minute, but like, guys, Love Story by Yin Yang Yoshi, and I had the pleasure of hearing this one live at TesCon 2026. That was a shout out to you, Blanks, in case you're listening.
I'm gonna take my headphones off so I don't hear myself again. Here we go.
Yeah.
They love with me. Do you feel complete? I sure hope you do. Nowhere I'd rather be, right here with you. We've grown so much over time. It's been faith since love at first sight. I'm reminded every time that I look in your eyes. There's such thing as a true love story. We live it every day, and that's worth knowing. Not every part of love is meant to be easy, but when we fight for it, the plot keeps growing. They say true love is really hard to find. To you and me, it's everywhere. Reflecting our passion inside. When you find it, commit the time. There are so many chapters to write, but no good love story written overnight. There's such thing as a true love story. We live it every day, and that's worth knowing. Not every part of love is meant to be easy, but when we fight for it, the plot keeps growing. There's such thing as a true love story. We live it every day, and that's worth knowing. Not every part of love is meant to be easy, but when we fight for it, the plot keeps growing.
I was trying to retweet while you were doing that. Oh, Dave the Frog loves it.
I like
Okay,
Dave
so
the
if you
Frog's
guys don't-
dancing.
Dave the Frog, we're gonna have to build some lore around Dave the Frog.
Well, he's writing his lore. That's why he wasn't here this like at the beginning. He was in the back writing. But that was beautiful. That was beautiful, Yoshi. Like I couldn't help but like just sit like you don't need nothing. You just need your guitar and you. That's it. That's exactly, yeah. Like I couldn't imagine, like, you need to come up to Canada. You could get a tour across the world with that voice. I believe it.
I
think so.
really appreciate hearing that. And thank y'all
He
for
is
listening.
amazing with just his guitar, but like, I honestly want to see him with a full band at TesCon, at Art Basel. But still, some solo sets are nice. But like, I want to see him with a full band. Personally,
As a singer-songwriter, my whole life, it has been 50-50. Y'all are an example of this right now. There's the people in my life that just genuinely think that it could just be me and my guitar, and anything more is a waste of time. And then there's others that are like living my lifelong challenge of finding a band that truly connects with the level of seriousness I see in my music. Like, this is not some lighthearted thing I'm doing.
no, I mean, but I also think that the concept of the band is, well, I feel like that's going to be, we'll start to see a little bit more fluidity with that, I think, especially with the blockchain, which we're going to obviously have to talk about, because love actually has a lot to do with blockchain.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it like that before, but I had to really self-reflect deeply on why the fuck I'm so obsessed with making sure certain things are on chain for the remainder of human history, right? Now, does that mean I'm going to fully vibe code everything on chain? No, that's not practical, but certain things I think do need to be on the blockchain for that amount of finality. But like for myself, I see you personally like doing just you and the guitar, but I also see you with the band. I see you as being able to do different scenarios, and I would like to see different scenarios for change. And when it comes to like the concept of the band, for instance, one of the models I like is Goldfrapp, a British duo that works together, and they do have other musicians that come in. They have other people that sometimes perform with them, but they always write all of the material together. I think you might see some other situations where it's like there's always different collaborators, or maybe it's like a similar situation like that. But I was actually speaking a little bit to Hidden, aka Nicholas, about this prior to the stream, and like, I know that you're going to be doing some stuff with Fendel, right? You're going to be collaborating with him, and that will have its energy. I do feel like there's going to be a collab with you and I at some point too, because I was trolling him before TesCon. I was like, Yoshi, let's do something really fucking depressing with your guitar. Like, we could really wail, right? And I'm like,
I remember.
It's Seattle, like.
I felt some type of way about you calling me a guitarist.
Oh, you didn't like all the guitar jokes I was saying?
No, it was fine. I'm just teasing. But no, I do feel more of a singer that plays guitar than a guitarist. I've actually always kind of think I'm pretty bad at guitar. I just play rhythm so I can write songs. But no, I mean, I've lived a full-time gigging musician's life once before. And it's actually...
You and I both, we connected on that.
Yeah. And I was actually stepping back, getting really just burnt out with trying to put together the band I wanted and gig. And that's why I found this blockchain. And in that sense, it has absolutely enabled collaboration on a global scale with musicians that actually take this shit seriously. Like when I actually get to meet somebody on the blockchain that's doing art, that we've already both been through the filter. It's better than any indie platform, because you know that anybody that's gotten this far is quite literally 1% of the world's population, and they've honed in. They're cooking, they're busy, they're heads down. And that's why I love the people I meet on Tesla so much, because they're just like me. We're all tired of the real world grind. We want to make something better that feels more sovereign, more productive, more fluid.
More permanent too, I would say, because yes, split sheets exist if you are going to operate in the traditional music industry, but y'all, if you are not paying attention to what happens to musicians, if you still want to be a part of the music industry after what happened to Oliver Tree, y'all need your heads examined. Okay? I'm just going to say it.
I don't want to be signed. No, thank you.
I got a nice contract, man. All I need is you to poke a hole in your finger and sign it.
No, I will always enjoy being an independent artist. It's like there's people, like I'm sitting in my dad's house right now. Like, he's been my lifelong debater on that because he really sees and always has been a very big supporter of my music. He's the one that sent me to music school.
Yeah.
But I think
So you also have a degree in music too? Sorry,
oh
what?
no! Remember, I actually left about
Oh, you left. Forgive me for forgetting.
2.5 years in.
Yeah.
My actual music coach pulled me aside and said, "Dude, you're not a good student, but you are good enough to do this, and you just need to get out there, stop wasting money on tuition, and start making money, getting experience." Best advice I was ever given. So.
No, and what have you done out here with Tezos, right? Like, is you know, I mean, Tezos actually is the reason for like how I actually went into so many directions. I will probably go into that in a little bit, but us with the blockchain, with the split sheets, I don't know. I feel like it makes it easier for someone to get nasty and say, oh well, they misinterpreted this and blah 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 and all that other bullshit. But on blockchain and on Tezos, they've made it easy. There's a couple of other blockchains that have made it easy well, kind of easy depending on how you're doing it, to be able to just split the sales with someone. Just 50-50, you put it in the contract, it's done. It's very permanent. I feel a certain way about like just being able to do a collab like that. And there's been so many collabs, you know, that have gone on. Yoshi even did a painting collab with one of our favorite musicians on Tezos, Mr. Fendel. Do you recall the little painting collab you guys did at Fendel's?
That was a really cool piece. We're still working on the music for it, though.
Oh, okay? You guys are still working on the music for it.
And
yeah.
But I did. One of the things I wanted to show you today was the collab I did with Heather, the painter we met.
I love Heather.
So can you see my screen here?
Let me add it to the stage because you're trying to share something. Okay, here we go.
So,
okay.
Obscure
You did that with Heather?
Yeah. The piece that I bought from her at the event is now a Heartstrong collaboration. And I vibe coded it to be in this gallery so you can experience it in its natural state. And you know how Heather does blue light interactivity? So I had a Blender assistant made that baked in blue lighting. So you can actually experience what it's like to put a black light up to the painting.
It's beautiful. Oh, it's very, very beautiful.
So this was her first collaboration. Maybe even not on blockchain. As a painter.
Oh shit.
And then
and you both go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. What was your question?
No, I mean just putting that on chain, right? I also have to give credit to Nicholas before kind of going off on this next rampage. Because Yoshi, you and I have talked about like sovereignty in terms of love and blockchain and music and how that all connects art too. And I told you that I had gotten some pushback from some of my artist friends back when I used to live in LA, only until like 3 weeks ago. Now I'm here in Seattle, saying, you know, we had something before NFTs. It was called Patreon and we weren't gambling on it. And he got really pissed at me. And Yoshi answers back with, yeah, but with the blockchain, I can send crypto to support anyone in the world, right? To people in Persia or Iran or whatnot, anything that's going on. And I had to think about it further, because it's like, that still doesn't rationalize the existence of an NFT. Because somebody can literally just send you crypto for your work. They don't have to have any kind of ownership. And unless it's fully vibe coded on chain, they don't own anything except a link a lot of the times. Okay, and that is facts, y'all. We're not gonna lie to you. If what you're purchasing isn't fully vibe coded on chain, you probably just own a link. And if you're collecting from an artist that isn't backing their stuff up on Arweave, I urge you to tell them to back it up, just in case, God forbid. But even if you think things are lost, right? As long as that shit was, fully vibe coded on chain, as Blangs was telling me, Tezos Commons, wonderful, wonderful man. If you just get your AI to go in and check out every smart contract in your wallet, you can find it and you can locate it. And so I had to think further. Okay, well, if somebody can just send you crypto for your work, in terms of like a patronage kind of way, why am I so obsessed with like putting something on chain? Why do I feel a sense of relief every single time I mint something? And
because you get to go back and look at this. This is like my favorite part, even just for my own world, is I get to see my growth. I get to see my creative source energy express itself and teach me about myself. And it's all right here for anybody else to learn from too. They don't have to discover it in person. They don't even have to discover me in person. It's just there. And the thing that I think that NFTs enables, directly to answer your question, is quite literally the piece I was just showing you. You can't buy that physically. You can't experience this physically. And you couldn't have experienced
you could put it on
painting.
YouTube, technically.
You couldn't have experienced her painting in a way that represents it. So in that sense, that's why I love Tezos, is because it's not just JPEGs and moving images. You can put an entire interactive experience on there. So that's one answer.
You're talking about object? Are you talking about object or Taya in particular, or both?
Both actually enable that.
Okay.
So you can do HTML code, .zip, 3D GLB assets, which have a legitimate use case. People like building metaverses. And it's essentially a video game for art. So I personally think it's not an either or. And that's why I said off the bat with Nicholas, offer it as an optional thing. There are people out there that just like collecting digital art. They don't need to justify it. They exist.
Mic drop. There's different ways to experience it. Like, you're actually so bright-hearted the way you speak about it. My reason is a little more morbid, because we can use, there's VR type of experiences that people can have without going on chain. There's just ways you can build applications so they can build it. But I do love that Taya and Object, they offer that. I love that there's so much versatility with Taya and Object in terms of how you want to not just experience but buy it. And I'm glad that they put all of that in there, the APIs. We can go on and on about all of the advantages with Taya and Object, and I'll have you do that in a second. But my reason for wanting to put things on chain is a little bit more morbid. And I spoke to Ryan about this too, just so you know, and Ryan's fucking hilarious. But it was actually somewhat inspired by something that Hidden Gems, aka Nicholas Paul, said to me. He said, "Red, I'll make sure you're not forgotten." And I'm like, well, it's not your responsibility. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I have to make sure I'm not forgotten. And the only way I can do that is to
gotta
fully
leave a
vibe code
legacy.
certain, is to put something on the blockchain, because it's at the end of the day, NFTs, you know, done right, is proof of existence. Like when I'm gone, where was my heart? It was left on the blockchain.
100%.
And it's so morbid to the point where I was even talking to Ryan a little bit about, like, I'm sure people would like to have certain photos of beloved family members on chain. They'd love to find some way to leave pictures of their pet, their dog. Just proof of existence.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And you're right. And I even said it in the beginning with Maestro spreading his ashes as an NFT, spreading his memory. But I 100%. I recently lost my grandfather, who was a legendary human being. When he'd walk into a room, everyone would notice, and shortly after, everyone would feel important. He was the person that could walk in and make anybody feel like they matter. And it got me really thinking about legacy. And quite literally what we're doing with the blockchain to advance the internet and how we use it and how we understand it and what it can become. Because as of right now, we're locked in a very restricted version of it by nature.
Yeah?
So that's where I do think that if we're really going to leave a legacy behind, if you will, engrave our names in time, my song I'll play you soon, it absolutely takes something that is permissionless, something that is accessible. You said something a minute ago, and that's that you can take a VR headset and experience the art that I was showing you. But the first thing that comes to mind is our artist that we had on the show 2 weeks ago from Nigeria,
Yeah?
who told me about how $1 can be a week's worth of work.
Oh, on
You know,
RT Fridays.
Yeah, and then I've talked to malicious sheep about ableism, assuming people can do stuff that are normal, and you take that to that extreme where there's a huge chunk of the world that can't access a VR headset. It's way too outside of their realm. But anybody, even on a library's internet, without signing in or needing any permission, can go to my object link and experience that artwork I showed you on the screen. So that's a big difference.
No, I mean, it absolutely is nice that it's connected with blockchain as well, on top of being an accessible experience for people who aren't going to use the headset. And maybe some people can't download an app, you know, because there's apps people can use to have like a similar experience, but you're giving people like a multi-dimensional experience and the ability to purchase on blockchain with Taya and with Object.
Precisely. It takes it to a whole other level of accessibility. And then you have these artists that are so stuck in the status quo that they're like, well, then how are you going to get your view count or your play count? How are you going to get that fraction of a penny per play? You know how much more I get value out of knowing that somebody that without this blockchain experience gets to hear my music. I don't need a fraction of a penny for that play. That's valueless. Doesn't need value. It matters.
What? Wow. Gems, are you not moved by this?
I've been kind of taking it all in and putting it into Gronk and, cycling it in. and then
That's so
journaling.
Nicholas.
And then, like, you know, I've been keeping my notes here, you know, like, I've been just my little book here. And, you know, the more I think of it, is I'm thinking of the movie Wall-E, where if we
Yeah?
were actually all being put on a ship, how perfect Web3 would be to put on that ship. Like, you have the simulations, you don't need to get big and fat and go around in a chair. You can just be skinny walking around your VR ship and these galleries, everything from Earth all put in one. And then I was thinking to myself, like, you wouldn't even need the physical world anymore. Like, you literally wouldn't need anything. You'd be floating in space just like how we are now. Like, there's no
Well,
difference to it.
I need the physical world. For
I
certain
mean, like,
physical
I was
activities.
also thinking, like, how could you make your art physical? And, like, I was thinking holograms, because there's certain cars that have holograms in them for things, but surely there's more better than cars. But like some things I always say are meant to be experienced in the real world first before you actually, like, as much as some things are meant to be thought first too, but like some things like this, you imagine seeing that little spiral going around and it actually goes into like a vortex, and like it'd be perfect. And everything you do is just like, the more I'm looking at this, the more like I'm feeding Gronk, the more like I'm just reading and just like kind of just putting this all through my mind. It's just, I can't wait to see you build, and like the way you're singing, the trajectory is really, you know. I wanted to know, if you could have it your way, what would you do? No matter, like, you have all I have all the tools in the world, and you wanted to make this real.
Wasn't in your way, what would you create? Yeah, do that anyway. What are you waiting for? Your heart's on course when you're enjoying more. Yeah, that's a question I've asked many people, including myself, anytime I feel lost. Is
Exactly.
what would you be doing if money wasn't an obstacle?
Okay, sorry guys, I'm gonna walk in to plug in because otherwise the computer's gonna die.
And that is exactly. Haven't really thought about it this way. That's why Tezos is so appealing to me. Because nobody on Tezos right now at this point is still there for money. They're there to be doing what they want to do. And they're there because they're empowered to do so.
No, he's not wrong. He's
And
not
so
wrong.
I'm
Everyone on
living-
Tezos is there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. Thank you, Red. Go ahead.
I didn't do it. No, I don't need to say anything. I need to like not interrupt you, and I need to plug in. Otherwise, my computer's gonna die in the middle of the stream. We don't want that.
But to answer your question more directly, I feel like I am living it. I'm very content where I am right now in life. I've got love. I've got friends. I've got a decent job that means something. And that job still empowers my art. And if anything, the more I dive into my art, the better I can do at my job. So it's very reciprocal. And what's funny is that I was doing it when I was at the rock bottom. I was doing it when I was looking at more money in my savings than I had ever experienced, and everywhere in between. So yeah, I would say that thanks to stepping back from gigging and living that cutthroat life and finding Tezos and then finding this position with Tezos Commons, after literally several years of volunteering my energy and my art, just exactly what I should be doing.
That's the perfect way to say it. Like, you're already living your dream. You're already living your dream, and that's the best dream to be living. especially when you go to bed and you wake up.
Yeah, what's funny is that I actually don't have dreams. I don't remember them at least.
Oh,
Um,
I always remember them, and they're very cryptic, so I don't have that problem. But carry on.
I just was going to also show you. This is my example of taking something that already was physical and already had its day, if you will, and reviving it and giving a new purpose. My song from the album Right Now, Right Here, which produced with a band many years ago. We called ourselves Acoustic Encouragement. Played a solid 5 years around Atlanta, all sorts of gigs. Probably my favorite band I've ever been in. But this is a digitized expansion of essentially that album.
But you no longer were.
So I actually have a wallet set up for my band members, even though they aren't in crypto. And if it ever does amass to anything significant, I still have their contact info and I'll send it to them. But right now I have it. These digital editions, if you buy one, I'll still send you a physical CD and its original packaging. And it's the full album. You got each song here. When you go to play a song, you can actually go to the lyrics. You can switch between the songs. So basically, the reason I'm showing you this is because today's internet isn't friendly to music sharing outside of going through the pathway that they want you to, you know, outside of going through the subscription service or getting it distributed and paying literal money to put your own art out there, like beyond any gas fees that you can think of, really, is what it costs to put your music out there in the traditional sense. You can't just post an MP3 on social media. They did away with that with MySpace. You got to wonder why. Why do you think they did that? It's too powerful. It's too powerful to just be able to throw music around. So that's going back to the whole sovereignty and like why I genuinely believe that the NFTs still matter is because something that was sitting in a box hidden away in my attic that it was no longer being distributed on live streaming because I stopped paying them is now permanently right here. It's like one of my favorite albums that brought it back to life as a current today product for people that would have never had a chance to hear it. So it's fresh to them. So that's like one of my earlier examples as a musician of one of the things I did to kind of like revive and feel like a renewed sense of my music career.
I love that.
Thank you.
It's so good. But also I like connecting to the physical, right? Because one of the things that, which is, it's a good thing, but it's also like a sad thing in a good way. Whatever, I love the bittersweet apparently. Yoshi drew this incredible kind of three-dimensional painting. And he painted it as well. I wanted it. Like I was jealous.
Heartstrings?
Yeah, you gifted that piece to Fendel and to Jane as a token of your gratitude. And if you don't mind talking about that a little bit more, and then I did have a way I wanted to go with this, but like if you just wanted to talk about that piece, it really moved me.
Well, that means a lot because it was a weird piece, to be honest, compared to like some of my other art. And it didn't connect with everybody. So that when it did connect with people, it was really special to me. But it's my heartstrong character. But instead of holding a guitar, I made his body the guitar, to where it's literally just a neck and strings coming out of Heartstrong. So I named it Heartstrings, and it's the whole idea of just playing your emotions, like literally expressing and singing out your emotions, and that's what I do as a singer-songwriter. So it was the most self-portrait-like painting I've ever made in that sense. And then it's like he was sitting in this black void, because I like painting on black canvas. For some reason from the very beginning that just appealed to me. And I said, that was actually what made me start painting. As I saw a black canvas, I was like, I think I want to paint on that. So then the final touch with that piece was just tiny little dots of white until it looked like a whole starscape behind it, which I think gave it that kind of three-dimensional feel you mentioned. But yeah, that piece was my first non-cat painting. Interesting side note is that all of my other paintings have been from that Posy Paw series.
No, that is interesting, but I love that you made it, and yes, at a certain point, I mean, I'll either commission you to do something or we'll figure something out, because I need some Yoshi art in my world, something physical, right? Because, you know, as musicians, we have some unique struggles to visual artists. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Look at that, y'all. But the reality is even though some people, especially people who are like, you know, digital artists themselves that are also collectors to collect, when the digital revolution happened, right? The streaming revolution, while it definitely democratized the experience for listeners with, you know, protocols such as, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, all these things, when people no longer had to buy a record or a CD to hear it, and musicians were already having to make the majority of their money from performances anyways, it actually just made things worse. And it made things worse because even the people who, you know, unless you were on a level of like Bad Bunny or Taylor Swift, right? The average touring musician in America, they make about 80 grand a year for 9 months out of being on the road. That is so brutal to their personal life. I mean, like, I know the wife.
You don't get a personal
one
life.
of them. Yeah, well, I know the wife of one of them. I'm not going to say which brand it is, but I do think that it is very likely impossible. She's fine now, but like it's maybe could have been part of the reason that triggered her to. She got cancer and she's fine now, but I know she was really uncomfortable with the fact that her husband was gone a lot of the time, you know, touring. Now, some people do bring their families, some people don't, but I mean, regardless, that's a hard choice for people to have to deal with. And even if people don't have, like, you know, kids, it's hard for the average person to be on the road that much. And even if you're flying, you know, like my sister, she had done national tours. She was like, oh my God, like after a while, I can only handle getting on a plane every single week for so long. So we needed, and we have needed other outlets. And Yoshi making physical works that are representative of his digital works, he's giving people not just another way to connect with the music, but a way to collect it, to hold it in their hands.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I picked up a paintbrush and irony originally because I got tired of all the AI haters being like, oh, well, you pick up a paintbrush, you'd appreciate it more. So I did. And then I started kind of rubbing it in the AI hater's face, like, look, I painted this, and then I used it as a reference. So I've come full circle. My main goal is to show the possibilities and to stop gatekeeping ourselves with these stupid rules. over workflows. You just do whatever it takes to make the thing that you want to express. So yeah, that's where the painting, this most recent, this past year, came from.
Just the idea to want to express yourself.
Yeah, and in more limitless ways, going back to sovereignty, it's one extra layer of freedom. Going, one other thing I wanted to say that is, when it comes to oneness, one heart,
one love,
there's so many things about this experience that we're all living that is unexplainable. Explaining it is honestly not even important. But expression is what art is, and why everything is art. Because like there may only be one love, but there are infinite ways to express that love.
Oh my God, but which makes me think of music, and why music to me has always been suspected as a language of love, because even within limited amount of as humans, the limited amount of scales that we can hear, the limited amount of frequencies, of modes, of chord changes, of substitutions, of even notes,
the fact that so many songs have come out of 4 chords.
It's limitless. Oh, what?
This is just, how many songs have we heard that are amazing songs that are the same 4 chords? Just a kind of blunt example of what you're saying.
But it's truly limitless. It's truly infinite. So, music is love, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Art is love. Heart with a capital A-R-T. You cannot spell heart without art.
And nobody should be suppressing that expression. Heather, who you collabed with, she and I are going to do some content again soon. We made these beautiful videos, and then I accidentally didn't hit the record button. Ryan is so livid with me. Ryan Tanaka of Taya, in case you guys don't know Ryan. But Heather was just talking about the importance and the freedom that comes with being able to express yourself. But what does that ultimately come down to? Love enough for yourself, sovereignty enough in yourself, in your own expression, to say, I have to put this out to the world, no matter what. And I want to bring up something Nicholas said. Nicholas said, at the end of the day, you want to put out something that you felt good about.
Yeah. Or at
Nicholas,
least
you don't feel good anymore.
it's complex there. Nicholas, if you want to respond, you can, before I go on a tangent.
Some things in life have to be done in ways that you don't have to always like it. But there's some things at the end of the day, when you have position to do it how you like it, and you still listen to the little voice in your head saying, I can grow a little more, but you've already grown the most. Or if you're just in a place, I look at it in the same way that you can be in a minivan all your life and be content living on the beach, or you will be content in a 10-story penthouse where you own the entire building, or you'll be on sea. It goes on and on, but it's very much what you like in life and what you put out there. Even if you just wanted to put a meme of SpongeBob because you thought of it, or if you just wanted to sing a song sporadically, or you want to post 20,000 Johnsons of data making sure everyone knows about the historical log of what's going on in this little realm of Elon X Trump era. Anyway, side note, music and stuff. But it's very much what you think. I'm sure when you finish a song, you understand. You just once you fine tune it up, and you just sit there and you listen to that first one, that one replay after it's done. And you're like, yeah, that's it. And then you can't listen to it with any more oomph like that, right? And so it's very much tied to that. And then the next thing you put out is it's speaking your truth. It's why I have this turtle in my hand.
I love that, and I agree. And for me, it's the constant. I know that I'm speaking my truth through a song if it makes me cry while I'm trying to play it. And that has happened so many freaking times in my life, literally on stage even, where like I've cried on stage at least a couple dozen times. I've learned how to play through it and sing through it and not choke up. But my songs make me cry, and that's how I know they're right for in what I want to put out. And if they don't, I find myself still working on it. You know, like it's an endless work in progress until it can hit that emotion on that deeper level. The other thing I was going to say about that was with the visual art and the growth that I've experienced through interviewing artists, and the idea that I don't believe there's anything that I can't like anymore. There are things that I may think I don't like, but it's actually that I probably don't understand something about them that is where I will connect to it. I think that I actually struggle today when somebody says they don't like a certain art form to not correct them and say, you just haven't found how it is meant for you yet. You haven't had that conversation that makes you go, oh, now I see. So for me, that example starkly is skulls, for example. Like my mom, because of her, I thought I didn't like skulls and art. And it literally took Tezos and all the skull and dark art and years, and finally talking to the artists that make dark art to go, holy shit. And all of a sudden, my perception started changing, developing, maturing. And that again goes back to the one love and the fact that I don't really think there are bad people even on this earth as much as good gone wrong. Love not matched, not met. It's all love. Even hate is love.
You know, I remember in grade 6, right around the time my parents realized I was a little too much ODD to handle. And if anyone doesn't know what that means, it means office. It's defiance disorder. And I'm still stuttering to say it, but essentially, I didn't like following rules. I didn't really understand them, and I thought my way were a highway. And it sounds very simple, but it takes a lot of time to understand it. And now you can see I've made a different highway for my way. But for the love, what you're saying was you keep coming back to it, and you keep getting that freedom. Like when I left school in grade 6 and I was taken out and I was put in a psych ward, and on one visit of my parents, I realized the care was one thing. I was still free. But when I was put in that box, it kind of made me realize exactly what I cared about. I wasn't there for any other reason than what we talked about: love, care, hope. Like not even hope, it's just a path you follow. And I sat there thinking, like, and I went on my visitation with my parents, and then we went to their hotel room, and we bought this Dollarama painting and this little crystal thing, and I got these cheapest watercolors. I actually still have the painting, and it just says love is key. That's all it said, and that's all I was thinking at 11-year-old. I didn't understand it yet. Love is key. Love is key. And I wasn't fully understanding it, but once I did understand it, which was pretty recently, it's very much a lot deeper than I thought at the time. And the fact that many things got stolen throughout care, and it always stayed with me. And when you put out these things, you just have to make sure it's kind of like what you see in video games almost. Like but if you take out a little chunk of every little bit of the games and make your own game, Like that's quite literally what you do. Like I'm just like there's already VR museums. There's already VR museums. They've been around since 2020, and the fact that now the foundation's there. Now you could just have a credit card system. You have a point of sales. That's it. And then, like, what it was reminding me of is like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Apple Music and people who downloaded millions of songs onto their MacBooks. It's a better way of doing that. It's a safer way of doing that. It's a decentralized way. It's a non-Apple owned way of doing that. It's an independent sovereignty. Like it's everything that what was promised to us. Well, my little self when internet came out. Now I see we're all fooled. But now we can just get new, at least the framework's there. Maybe that was a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it was meant to, but what matters is we're doing it now.
It's an evolution of a thing that was needed already. Going back to the whole Patreon, I mean, you can even think of like DeviantArt as a great example of pre-NFT monetization of art.
Is a great example of NFT monetization.
DeviantArt, which is, you know, you could sell a JPEG for money before NFTs. You'd put it up on Deviant. But again, it comes back to that middleman. Deviant was a company. You know, everywhere, even Patreon, it's a company. You know, Tezos is not a company. Ethereum is not a company. And the marketplaces, they're like not the same level of middleman as what we're used to perceiving when it comes to transacting between people. You know, Object may take their 2 to 5% so that they can literally exist for us. But there's not some predisposed user agreement that's constantly changing against our favor under the table as part of that business. So that's the real dividing entity of what Nicholas was just pointing out, is that we really are taking the middlemen out and allowing people to interact with the person they're intending to interact with.
You really don't need what I'm holding here.
No,
you really don't. Like,
no.
And that's one thing I learned through my culture as well. Like, especially on the East Coast where I am, you know, I'm that Christopher guy. He docked here, and so like it's very interesting to see that we still have our powerhouse, we still have our community, and like we have our independent sovereign shops. They're a real thing for anyone out there. They're real physical buildings out there in the world, not just in Canada, not just in the U.S., not just in Mexico, not just in Brazil, not just in Europe, everywhere, even in Russia, even in China. It's beautiful that they're like it's adapting evolution exactly how you said it, and that's where like deviancy is a word, could be a word for it, but it's almost like there's this game called Detroit Become Human, and it's all about the stories of AI and the evolution of AI, and it's almost like we are kind of moving in well, we already are here. That's what no one realizes. We're already here. We just get everyone kind of on board, get them all on the ship, and then
when you say here, the word that comes to mind is singularity.
Singularity. Well, there's mechanical AI and non-mechanical AI, and then there's 17. I know there's a lot of types, but what types of AI we have are those two types right there. And singularity could be defined in a lot of ways. Like there's theories out there that the moment we created AI, it happened, or the moment that
it's helping us see it.
Yeah,
it's helping us tune in to it. But
I was
go ahead. Sorry.
Singularity is the right word, because like if you look at the human eye, right? What's one thing we can't really replicate that? And like if people worry about, this is the whole worry. If we build the machines that build the machines for the machines to build more machines, they don't have our eyes, right? And so what I mean by that is when people go blind, they're blind. There's not much you can do, at least not in this century lifetime. But when it comes to manufacturer building an autonomous Tesla bot, to build and work at the Tesla autonomous building Tesla factory. It can only do so much with its own eyes until it says, you know, Yoshi, Red Alark, Hidden Gems, we need y'all to come in here and do some footing and just talk about like how bad this place is and how good this place is. Its pros, its cons, its equals, its gray, it's everything. And you know, we want y'all to like do some art on the walls, you know, inspiration these robots. And then years go past. Hey guys, you remember us? Like that's gonna be the new cycle, I feel like. And like
We'll be making art.
is.
We'll be
I'm
making
sorry,
art
I'm
for the
kidding.
robots.
yeah, and
I
like
love it.
even if the robots like if you really think about it, like there's another crisis. There's multiple crises that are reasons why these bots are being put out there. Like there's not a lot of people working. Well, there's a lot of people working. It's been the same people, right? Which is like for me, I never finished my school, and I've worked one job as a bag boy, and I looked at my first paycheck and I instantly left. And I was like when I was 15 and I was home for a little bit, and I realized I'd made a shop, like I'd set up a Shopify store. Me and my friend tried setting one up and it didn't work, so I just set one up on my own. And I had made a decent chunk in sales, and I just looked at that. It's like I just saved 50 weeks of my life.
Yeah.
And then I started to think, like, when it really hit me, I came up with the surgery. And it was either like the first 3 times I got offered my surgery, I got offered my surgery when my spine was at a 33-degree angle. 45-degree angle, because that's the only time they could do it. I found out I had scoliosis at a 33-degree angle. And then it kept going. I remember it was about 72 or 76. I just remember I felt like a spring. And it was kind of weird and kind of cool at the same time. Now I just have 2 settings, like crippled and then straight.
Yeah.
And so like I remember, I don't know what, like I truly don't have a reason for not accepting them. I just was fine with how I was. And I was like, after the surgery, I woke up, and after realizing I felt every nerve in my body, and past that, I kind of clicked in my head, like, I wasn't living. I was just moping through life, you know? No matter if I had everything. Like, most of the stuff I had when I was in care and towards the end of it, and I never really knew how to use it. Now I know how to use my box of crayons properly, you know? Like, now I know how to feel when I'm painting on the side of my shed, or when I build a little 4x4 10-foot structure and then tear it down to build a giant mural. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, or I just hit up the chief of the reserves and say, hey, I'm gonna do this for free. Let me paint your sidewalks. Let me paint your barricades. Let me paint this. And let's try to raise the money. Let's try to set it up through BBWC. So, you know, there's always a way. That's what I learned in care. Like, as much as your life can change in 30 seconds and go from like, it can also go, it's literally like this.
Yeah.
It bends like this, it goes like this, but these 2 areas always stay the
If
same.
it was a straight line, we'd be dead.
And it's exactly. And it's always going to be even. We're always going to touch that straight line, but we're never going to really bend.
Exactly. It's all a heartbeat.
Exactly.
I love that. And you know, the stagnancy. And you just look at water, what happens when water stagnates. You know, it breeds illness. It breeds illness. Is the right word. You're not able to fully live in your vitality.
Vitality. I love that. Vitality, freedom, choices, right? Choices is part of vitality and freedom. And kind of want to bring things a little bit back to Taya and Object for a second. Because, you know, since that friend of mine was very like, fuck all of this, Patreon, you know, I mean, like, and it's somebody that I respect, and he makes beautiful music and beautiful art, even though I haven't spoken to him in a while. If he's listening, he knows I'm talking about him. I also like the licensing permissions that certain blockchains, especially with Taya and Object, have. Because let's say I buy said and said piece from Yoshi, or maybe there's a digital piece that accompanies one of your physical paintings, Gem. And I'm going to have to start going physical too, because I'm tired of everyone bullying me for using AI, even when I've written entire songs without AI and there's no fucking AI on there at all. There's something about being able to have freedom of licensing, with NFTs, to be able to choose, having that freedom to choose how you want it to be distributed, what licenses you want to use, to be able to set your royalties without having to report to the motherfucking record company.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the big strides towards real sovereignty and like actually autonomy over our art is what Taya, quite literally only Taya I'm aware of, has been producing. Like, okay, you can go to like object.com or Super Rare or any of the other NFT platforms, and you can say that you want your artwork to be CC BY SA. You can learn that, you'll learn about what all the different things are. You'll pick them and it'll give you some security, but it's just a suggestion as of where the industry is right now. Where there's not like some guarantee that some lawyer is going to be able to take your object NFT and that license and actually hold to it. But it needed to be done. It needed to be suggested. There was a step that needed to be taken in that direction. And now Taya, with their fully DAO-based governments, where they are not a company, they are a DAO. It is a community-ran volunteer initiative, officially registered, all of that good stuff. You can vote with their DAO token. That's all it's for. It's a fully functional entity in that sense. And then they've created this copyright system that goes drastically into the depths that nothing else has even touched, where you can, even after minting an object or an NFT, you can go and you can specify exactly what is and isn't okay, step by step, and then you actually can just input the contract and token ID of the NFT you're doing it for. So that's what I did for this one, for example. And then I did it after the fact so that I could give it more customization and an actual, like this is actual a license agreement that you can actually pull up and customize as you pick the things. So like as you click the boxes, the agreement automatically adjusts to be what you're wanting. So you actually have a document now instead of it just being an idea. So I'll give you a concrete example here, which is that I have not set the rights yet for the Great Pyramids, which is one that I am offering the physical for if somebody collects the NFT. So in that sense, I can then say they can write to reproduce, make their own copies, but I wouldn't do that personally. But they're allowed to broadcast it, very specific thing, public display, derivative works as an artist. I love it. You want to make work off my work? I'm glad I could inspire.
You are inspiring. Sorry, I'm all loud.
Thank you. But you see what you get the point. Yeah. It's like instead of just picking an already predisposed agreement that's made, you can literally make your own. You can even set an expiration date on it. You can put addendums and notes to further strengthen your agreement. And then, when you're ready, you input the NFT, and as long as you own it, which means, this is the catch, I'm actually not on the right wallet right now. So to make this a copyright, I would need to sync to the same wallet that I made the art on.
Yeah.
But now I have this perfect, exactly how I wanted agreement that you can create, and then it plants it on the blockchain, on chain. Nobody else has done that yet.
Well, to the degree of sovereign choices that you have here that's already built in is really incredible. I mean, yes, now, of course, we're living in the age of vibe coding, which is great, but it's also, as I was talking to Ryan Tanaka, for those of you guys who don't know him, who I would say is the most vocal leader of Taya, even though there's other people who put a lot of work into it. You know, he was talking about how beautiful it is that we have all of those options with Taya.
Yeah, and it's what's interesting about that important point to make. Taya is the phoenix of the ashes, if you will, of ᚗᚗᚡ. That massive wave of culture that will go down in history still exists. It didn't die, just has a new name and got taken over by, instead of one person, an actual community run DAO. So Taya is an evolution of ᚗᚗᚡ that took 5 years to develop such important, significant things, which is just a testament to the fact that it's not a meme when us crypto bros say we're still early. We are still early.
Are you trolling me now, Yoshi?
No, we are early. We are in the putting the fiber optic cables into the ocean era. You know, we spent trillions as a unified world to put the fiber optic cables in the ground and under the ocean. And then we went like a decade or something like that without even using it. It was a complete loss until it revealed itself and created the infrastructure of the internet we use today. That's what we're building with blockchain. We're at the fiber optic cables going in the ground era, and people saying, what the hell was that for?
I mean, and there's a lot to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, I could just send crypto to one of our friends in Iran, but like, if it's on the blockchain, our friends in Iran can just be like, you know what, my term, my contract, my licensing, and that cannot be accomplished from just sending them crypto.
No.
None of that. But so we've got that embedded in a lot of these, a lot of these sites. And I mean, I love that Taya really thought about this so in depth. It's very much needed. This doesn't mean, guys, that you shouldn't go to copyright.gov. You absolutely should do that too.
Yeah.
But one word that I hear a lot of people talk about in art world is provenance. I also look at it like it's another layer of protection in case you have to go to court. Be like, look, I put this on chain first before this fucker did. Huh?
Exactly.
It's time stamped.
Yeah. That's before any of this other stuff, before I understood any of it, as a singer-songwriter, all I needed was somebody to say, here, look, you can go to the Block Explorer and see you did this before that person. Yeah, that's significant.
Yes. I mean, and so for people who are like, oh, well, it doesn't solve the money-making problem ultimately, it's like, yes, I understand that we are still, I hate to say it, but we're a little early. I don't like saying that, though, because people use that saying to make excuses, to not invest, to not, take action in their life. But in terms of what we're talking about now, it is good to get involved in these things now, to care about, sovereignty, licensing, provenance, all of these things. Now is the time to get on it, don't wait, right?
Exactly. I mean,
it's never going to be a perfect time to release a piece. And I was telling go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, okay. But it's just going out there and just doing it, right? And releasing it and having a timestamp on there. Like, I put out a piece this weekend or last weekend, and I'm going to put it on Tez on Tuesday. And I was telling like Nicholas, I was like, I keep waiting for the perfect time. And I made most of this almost 3 years ago. I adapted the end a little bit differently, but that was based on inspiration from our friend Fendel. A lot in part as to why I changed the ending a little bit. And it's just like, there's never a perfect time. No, we haven't solved the issue of are more artists actually making a living because of blockchain. That's actually not the case at all right now, just in general. I mean, there's a few exceptions, but those few exceptions, I mean, exception, it's good and it's bad, right? Because, for instance, like we can't just go around saying, look, this Nepo baby did it, or look, this person did it because they got lucky because people were gambling with JPEGs during the pandemic. And again, I'm not putting down like people who've actually put down quality work. That's not the point, because we've got some amazing people that have put amazing music and art on chain, and it's not taking away from any of their accomplishments. And I'm not here to shit talk anyone. And after I spoke with Ryan a little more about, you know, nepotism, he's like, you do realize for these people, it's a prison. It's not sovereign, because their life has no meaning. They don't understand the artist's struggle. And also, they're not living a decentralized life. Any of you, right? If you were to piss off someone and then all of your money's gone, you're part of some kind of cabal, or you're in some kind of abusive, centralized situation if you pull the plug on them and then like you have no money, or that source of income is gone, right? I mean, like, and that's just kind of like a sad thing. And it's just like, even though that does exist, you know, what I have always said is like, you know what, we're early in the sense that we're still, you know, to where blockchain is not mainstream technology. Some people are still dreaming of the stupid motherfucking industry, music industry, and some people are still stuck on, oh well, I'll just sign up with an independent record label company. Well, what good is that going to do you now, considering, like, yeah, I mean, there's still somebody else that you have to go through, a record company, not a blockchain. You still don't have like the choices that you would. And when I tell people, I was like, blockchain is part of our solution in terms of sovereignty for artists. We've demonstrated that. We've talked about that with Yoshi. I've talked about that with Hidden Gems. But for those of you who think that that's like the only answer and that we don't have to continue to figure out how to increase the understanding for value for art and bringing out more people actually creating art that does do better for humanity, well, that is going to be a multifaceted answer. And why wouldn't it be a multifaceted answer? We are not living in some monochromatic existence. It is a multimedia world. It is a multimedia experience. So we will have multiple solutions. But don't sit there and tell me that blockchain ain't part of it, because you're not paying attention.
Yeah, it's not some one-liner easy to answer solution, nor is the problem one-liner easy to answer. It is the entire status quo is enshittified. So we got to step beyond that, acknowledge that shit happens, make some manure, and grow. As we said, TezCon.
That is true, yeah, and TezCon was based on the concept of enshittification. Jem, are you familiar with the concept of of enshittification, or would you like Yoshi to explain it? Because that's literally what TezCon was based on when we did it this year.
Explain a little deeper for me.
Sure. It's actually not a made-up term. It's actually... there's a whole book on it that I'm trying to remember how to cite. But my understanding of enshittification is that we're in the era where things that should be for people are pressured to become for profit, for attention, for data. And by nature, over time, things erode when they're not for people. So we're watching an age of, quite literally, since society eroding. The internet that once was, it no longer is. It's run by billionaires and trillionaires that have very different interests than ours. So take that, and you can find it in every little corner of our existence right now. You know, you go to a fast food restaurant, the ice cream machine's down. So like the most blunt example. You can almost expect if you go to McDonald's, they're going to tell you the ice cream shaker is down. Why even build it? Why do they still have them when 9 out of 10 times you can't get your ice cream? It's a terrible example, but it's a funny one.
No, I mean, it is a good example.
It's just Big Brother.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But we ran with the concept, and do you know how many people got it? It was Ryan, even though he won't admit it, Ryan is a master rage baiter. So I really do feel like when he's not the only one, but when they committed to naming it enshittification, it was the best form of rage baiting ever. And Ryan will argue with me and say, I'm not rage baiting, I'm just telling the truth, right? Some people don't like it. But I think it was brilliant because like it's not rage baiting for the sake of just drawing attention. It was drawing attention to the state of how we see things going, drawing attention to the reality of how things are going. Because also the other thing I harp into the ground is that if we're not honest about the struggles that we're facing, everyone's just making shit up, trying to make everything seem, peachy keen and wonderful.
Trying to be a brand.
Yeah, if you sitting there pretending everything is cool is not helping you, and it's not helping other people. If you can be honest and just say, hey, you know what? This is how I'm struggling like this, or this is how I'm struggling like that. People are going to trust you more, but more importantly, you're going to trust yourself more. And if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust, right?
Yeah.
When people say, and trusting yourself, as I talked about in our very first episode, is a huge part of sovereignty. And I'll be the first one to admit that for a long time, I refused to trust myself. And a few months ago, it was a little more than a few months ago, some, occurrence happened where I had this conversation with this individual, and one of the things that he told me was, he's like, hey, there are some things that you need to do by yourself, and you need to know that you can. And so now I'm in kind of like these dark nights of the soul. Ever since I moved out here, okay, I got to make it happen. But it is happening.
Yeah,
and
you're doing it.
And a lot of it is because of you guys, speaking also of our topic, love and sovereignty, but also collaboration. The choice to collaborate with whom we collaborate with, not being locked into some kind of multi-sig bullshit, which is not sovereign. For those of you who think you're being sovereign, you're being stupid. Yeah, I know that wasn't nice for me to say that, but I just said it. Because how many more times do we need to hear about oh, it was multi-sig and it went to shit? How many times do you guys need to hear that to know you shouldn't be doing that shit? When I made the choice to move here to Seattle, for how long? I don't know. I knew that Ryan was here. I knew that Fendel was here. And I had to trust that there would be, some form of love and welcoming to where I could exist in Seattle. And sometimes when you get exactly what you're looking for, and everyone at TezCon and everyone here it made me feel like that is a viable path, and that kind of support matters in decisions like this. Even if I've made a sovereign decision and it was my own decision. That's one of the things Ryan brought up when we spoke. He's like, okay, well, I was here and Mark was here, Marcus Fendel, but he said, but ultimately it was your decision. Like, we didn't tell you to move here. And I said, no, you didn't, but you sure inspired it. And yes, it was my own decision, and that's so important. Like, guys, like, being able to make your own personalized decisions with blockchain.
You know what's a really broken down example of what you're saying?
Tell me.
It's the ability to sit and enjoy a meal out in public at a restaurant by yourself. It's a good test of the energy you're talking about. But I just want to say that you're doing it. And when it comes to one of the topics we talked about, love and sovereignty, it's just kind of ironic that as you were worrying about, in a way, those things, you had literally just jumped into solving the problem. And I see that's what you're doing right now, especially as like a single woman, to like move to a new place and just own it and do what you want to do. It's that takes a lot of bravery. And it's hard to be brave if you don't feel like your true self. So I just want to point that out.
And I didn't feel like I could continue to be my true self in LA.
Yeah.
And not to say that there's not amazing people there. We're probably going to have someone very dear to my heart on the show who I met in LA, the very first AI scientist I ever met in LA, in a couple weeks. And there are still people that are dear to my heart there. But ultimately, I just felt like, I mean, there was a lot of things that led up to that decision, but I knew if I stayed there, it would kill me. And I know I'm sounding dramatic, but I don't give a fuck. I'm telling the truth. And I'm leaving out some details because privacy is a human right. And I'm not trying to deceive anyone here, so it's not like I am withholding information that is harmful, because the opposite of privacy is censorship. And it's also fun when you have an abusive partner that's trying to censor you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just couldn't. And when I say partner, it could be boyfriend, girlfriend. For those of you who are still saying partner and you're not in America, I'm just letting you all know right now, that's code for I'm gay. A little education from me that you didn't expect, but now you got it. But like, that is like an American culture thing. But
So guys, I'm gotta take the dog out real quick.
Oh no, it's fine. Don't worry about that. Like,
Come on, Bernie.
different things. But
Buddy.
bravery, courage. I want to say Nick right here. He was part of the reason why I felt like I'd be okay. Nick knew, a bit about like what I was dealing with, but Nick's whole thing was, you'll be okay. I'll make sure you're okay, and but you also made me feel like I would be able to make sure that I was okay. That you don't have to carry what isn't yours to carry. He's always been like extremely empowering. He always talks about equals, and I know you get uncomfortable when I call you things like brilliant. Yoshi, you're not uncomfortable if I call you brilliant. I know that. But one of the things that's so beautiful about the way Nick always talks about people is that we're all equals, and he always treats everyone as an equal. And but I think that that's another thing about blockchain, is it all gives us an equal opportunity for that choice. But you can't have that if you don't trust yourself, if you don't have the courage. Every
It
time
evens
we
the
put
playing
something
field
online-
if you
Sorry?
allow it to. I'm sorry, I'm parroting
Don't
what
be
you're
sorry.
saying, which is that blockchain evens the playing field unless you're getting in your own way.
Which reminds me of something that someone in LA said before he died. I know for those of you who remember Money Gundam, this may be a little bit of a sensitive topic if you're in LA and you're listening, but I didn't realize I was getting in my own way, really. I wanted to kind of blame other people for this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, oh, well, even in Web3, there's so much gatekeeping and blah, blah, blah. And yes, of course, there's cabals here. There's cabals everywhere, you know? But you know what he said? He said, no one is gatekeeping you except you. He passed away about a month later. I don't really want to talk about that in detail, how that happened, out of respect for his family and out of respect for all of his friends. But this also goes back to our topic of love, right? In that movie Interstellar, Anne Hathaway talks about how love is so powerful that we remember people after they've died. Well, Money Gundam, he still remains one of the reasons why I also carry on, because even though he's not around anymore, I was like, well, if I give up, if I just wither away and I don't act in bravery, I'll be disappointing him. And I don't want to do that. You want to?
That's exactly.
Go ahead, Yoshi.
I need to play all my song now. Damn it.
Play your song. Now, I inspired you to play another song. What's this one called?
Legacy.
Oh yes, Legacy. I knew you have to play this.
Because what you just said is literally the exact emotion that got me through my mourning stage with my grandfather. 100%. He was the one that made me realize that, like, every day I'm not putting my words and my art and my heart out into the world, I'm doing my legacy a disservice. Because there might be that one lady, for example, like at the Seattle airport on my way home, that my song I played very quietly, thinking I was playing it for the people right next to me, moved her to tears. And she came up and was like, I can't express how much I needed to hear that right now. Well, what if I wasn't there? What would have happened? It's hard to know what state that person was in.
Yeah.
But I know that was a meant to be encounter, and I could have gotten in my own way. So that's yeah, I want to play all this songs.
Play it. You know what, Yoshi? I wanted to have you on the show playing and singing. Makes me happy. Makes Dave the Frog happy too, right, Dave? Okay.
This is one of my other brands. All right, headphones off. Hope you all enjoy. How will I remember me when spirit leaves this body? No brain to store these memories, no hands to write, no voice to speak. Within this precious life, spirit, body, and mind, grave my name into time. Leave legacy behind. Leave legacy behind. On the journey through valley of death, through frequencies where spirit rests, as energy flows towards what's next, body 6 feet below. Only legacy left within this precious life.
spirit, body, and mind. Bring my name into time. Leave a legacy behind. Leave a legacy behind. Now this heart beats in my chest, with these lungs to my last breath, and rest within my head, won't really rest until I'm dead. Too much to do before I go, places to see, people to know, build a community and grow, put on a memorable show. Within this precious life, spirit, body, and mind, and bring my name into time. Oh, leave a legacy behind. Leave a legacy behind. Oh,
Beautiful.
Leave a legacy behind.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And Hidden, Nicholas, you have to rap for us sometime.
Actually, I produced a song today, but we'll keep it hidden
Share
a little
song
bit.
with us?
Not today, not today.
Not
I
today, not
got
today, another day.
I got
Okay,
something
okay.
cooking.
No, Yoshi, like I'm really. Do you want to play another one? Like, cause I'm really like, you have so many songs that like resonate with the message.
I have one or two. They're all kind of related to today's topic.
I mean, they really are. Like, y'all, I got to hear his whole set at TezCon.
Let's see. We could do the anti-tech, anti-AI one.
Ooh.
We could do Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna just say my spiel about happiness really quick, and then Nicholas, if you want to argue with me, that's fine too. And then we're gonna play your song. I think the pursuit of happiness, it's kind of related to love, or perhaps I need to redefine what happiness is, right? Because one thing I always say is like, okay, that's nice. It's in our Constitution. Well, the American Constitution. For those of you who don't have one, I'm a little sorry for you. Although we don't really follow our First Amendment or all of our rights all the time. When we do, it's amazing. That's a whole nother topic. But anyhow, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, it's a little loud here. You know?
Absolutely.
So I'm just gonna, oh yeah, the pursuit of happiness, right. I always feel like happiness is something you can't really chase, right? It comes and it goes. And that's why I always say in the end, there's always purpose, right? So I always like to say the pursuit of purpose. However, if purpose brings you some kind of happiness, although I'd say a better word for it is maybe peace, right? Without being the word police here, that is a form of happiness.
Yeah.
But when I think a lot of times when people think of happiness or they think of peace, they are thinking about it, you know, with the absence of tragedy, with the absence of sorrow, with the absence of, you know, just the ultimate fragility we all have as human beings in life. And it's like, tell me, what does peace look like in times of homelessness, in times of cancer? What does happiness look like? Well, it's still there, and you have to pursue it. Show us the painting.
No, I'm illustrating what you're saying.
Right
It's not
now?
a flat line. If you lived in happiness, it would no longer be happiness. You wouldn't know how to compare it to unhappiness. it would just be stagnancy. So the pursuit is the point.
A light bulb just went off, so that's the whole point?
The joy is in the journey, not in the joy.
Joy is the journey. It's in the creation, isn't it?
Yeah.
The
So that's
joy
what
is in
this
the sorrow.
song's
Sorry?
essentially about. Is I sat down to write it in frustration, looking at the current state of my country
Yeah.
and how that phrase doesn't feel real some days.
Yeah.
But then through writing the song, I had my therapy. And that's why I share the song, because maybe it can be someone else's. And the whole idea is that the pursuit is the point. And we got to stop being frustrated that we're not at the destination, because then it would be over.
But then again, destinations are always changing, right? The Garland Sutra, right, which I talk about a little bit here and there. Guys, that's one of the main sutras in all sects of Buddhism, and part of that is impermanence, is reality. So that happiness is always changing, right? The song you wrote yesterday is not going to be the song that you wrote today. The sunrise and the sunset are fleeting, and tomorrow they'll be gone.
And then we die, and we travel through the valley of death, and come out as some other energy form. So it's not really
our
death
souls
either.
are locked on the blockchain forever.
So they do make soul tokens now, apparently.
What?
Soul-bound tokens. I've been hearing about those.
You want to play a song now, right? Because you're talking
Yes.
about the flat line, the need for polarities, which I pushed back against that reality for many years. But go ahead.
All right, here we go. Actually, I don't hear the echo when your mic's muted. It was all your fault, Red.
Everything's my fault, right?
No,
Dave the
no,
Frog
it's
says
just
so.
I actually don't have to take my headphones off to play for you. It was the echo from your room, I think. So
Oh, I put it on mute again. It's fine.
Perfect. All right, so this is the pursuit of happiness. I tried to channel John Lennon and really kind of put my own twist on that universally strong message that he put into song.
Imagining a place where it's safe for you and me to pursue happiness with equal liberties. Imagining a time when it's safe for all beings to live life and prosper with their unique beliefs. 'Cause it's not who we are to blame a neighbor in need. We walk straight too far from love and community. We need each other now more than ever it seems. Let's all remember how to be better human beings. Imagining how we can all thrive instead of fighting just to stay alive. See the good in each other, yeah, that's how we'll recover. 'Cause we don't have to do it alone. Division is the devil's goal. Together we're stronger, I know. Let's come together. We don't have to do it alone. Division is the devil's goal. Together we're stronger, I know. Let's come together, yeah. it's not who we are. To blame a neighbor and me, we all stray too far from loving community, and we need each other now more than ever it seems. Let's all remember how to be better human beings. How to be better human beings. To be happy.
I was muted when I did that, but like, oh, I love this so much. Now, it's that time when I just want to like bring something into like something awesome for a second, and like I know you guys have places you need to be, but like, Yoshi, is it premature to talk about our Art Basel visions now, or should we leave that for another episode?
Put it out there in the world. Why not?
Yeah, so everything was so amazing with TezCon. One of the first things I did was go up to people like Yoshi, and I think I might have said this to Fendel too. I'll have to speak to Mark, or Fendel. I started calling him Fendel. Nobody, and then other people started doing it. I was like, we have to find some way to go to Art Basel. We have to monetize. And we have to have a good time doing it. And I want to make sure that you guys are there. And I want Nicholas to be there, even though Nicholas has to go through some hoops to be there. I don't know how much Nicholas wants to speak on that, but like how powerful it is to be with you guys and to collaborate with you guys, and how we all need to be united when we go to what isn't like the biggest art week in all of America.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit more about the importance of Art Basel for artists, the importance of why we need to go out there as a team?
I wrote an article through Tezos Commons that touches a lot on the nuances that I discovered of why it's so much more significant than just the big main event. It's this whole universe of orbits around it that are people like us, just riding that wave. And what it made me realize is how significant how the kind of another layer of the oneness, if you will, where it's like, instead of seeing trad art and the Beeples of the world as some other entity or something different than me, what I finally realized is that no, they just actually refined and stuck to their guns and kept going, and they've earned their way to a specific place that they decided they wanted to be. And that's not necessarily all of our path. I don't want to be a Beeple level success at art, because it would distract from the multidisciplinary nature of what I like to do. So I had that really kind of humbling realization through Art Basel, and seeing that there's a place for everybody. There's satellite events that are just as wonderful as the main event, just as inspiring. And then the other thing is, we'll make one. Like, we will literally plan and throw a satellite event that can make a difference to the entire orbit, you know. And that's what I feel like we did with Paper Buddha's crew, the temple, this past year, is we absolutely created a whole planet orbiting Art Basel, and it mattered, you know. So I think that it is absolutely important to take that to the next level, like I was saying to you at TezCon, which is that the Tezos community energy and spirit I would like to see represented more loudly and in person, kind of like how TezCon was. It had its own very clearly Tezos ethos within the event and the messaging and the art that was showcased. And I think we could do that 100% pretty powerfully at Art Basel this next time.
I think so too. What do you think, Dave the Frog? Ribbit?
Feels like hallelujah, amen.
He's dabbing right now, kind of like, I think it's kind of funny. No, I think that's incredible. So yeah, I mean, like, But it's not just Art Basel. The whole week is Miami Art Week.
That's the thing, is that
Which is a big
actually
deal.
it's Miami Art Week, and Art Basel is just like the last thing we did. And sure, it was significant, and it was, if you're actually into art and you're not just being a hater as an emerging artist, I am one, you could really get some inspiration in that big building. There's all of the different types of art being represented around the world in one place. It's super powerful. You know, you just got to get out of your own head, get out of your own way, and stop being spiteful that somebody actually did what you're wanting to do. That's the energy that I noticed going to Art Basel, was there was all this hate towards like the idea of it. And so I went into it like, I'm going to combat this. I'm going to experience it, and I'm going to write about why it matters. You're muted, Red.
It's exactly why it matters.
Carry on.
It's community. You know, it's like going to a village in the medieval times, and you realize it's just like each kingdom is different.
Yeah.
And each Comic-Con is different. Not Comic-Con. Each convention is different. And I'd like to see more up in Canada. I can't wait. But it's all over the US first. And it's emerging.
It's an interesting point. There isn't really a blockchain event specifically that I know of in Canada.
Nothing.
Yeah. Well, maybe we need to do that too then.
Just set up a TESCon at Niagara Falls.
Yeah. The sky is the limit. Well, when it comes to TEA, they have some funding and grants now for specifically throwing smaller events, which TESCon would be considered a smaller event as of right now. So this is for anybody listening. If you have an idea and you believe in it and you feel like you can bring people together around that idea and you can see how Tezos can empower you, put it on paper. Use AI to create a product, like a plan, you know, pitch it, try to get a grant. If you don't, learn from it, adjust, pivot, try again.
Exactly. You know, remember that green scene crazy man? That green screen crazy man just telling us to, like, it's like, just fucking do it. And, like, makes you just want to whip a duck at a wall, you know? Like, it's like, and then you realize, like, I always like to say to I realized for the longest time I would, unironically, way I kept myself from not doing it was saying, well, in a year, I probably wouldn't have made it that far. In a year, I probably wouldn't have made it far. And then I think, about a year away, I'm like, maybe I could have made it a little far. And because I'd see tech and things advance and just things go. And then it got to the point where I was saying, you know, let's see how far I can go. Give myself a month. And then that's all I needed. And then sometimes I was like, another month. Then the next month, we'll see where it goes. And then, you know, you just infinite. Literally have like 2,000, 3,000 weeks in our lives, you know? Like, it's, might as well. And, you know, the fact that I can't work because of my crippledness, I can't, you know, it's a strange time. I made of metal, but you'd think I'd be stronger.
Yeah. Well,
But
mentally you are. And that's a testament to the pain and the struggle that is part of human, going back to Buddhism, Red. Life is suffering, and that's
all right,
okay.
Jake, I love it when people explain my religion to me, even though it's not really a religion. But
It's not a
whatever.
religion.
It's not. It is, and it's not.
It's a way.
Yes.
Yeah. But in general, the whole idea behind Buddhism being to acknowledge the suffering is part of it. And then you take that to the next layer, and it quite literally, like, I kind of feel a little morbid sometimes when I have people in my life going through really big tragic moments, because I struggle not to see the excitement of the end of that and whatever's going to come from it. Because almost every big tragedy I've seen people go through ends up in some miraculous new thing. Something that would not have been born without the tragedy. You know, kind of that being reborn, to put it more religiously. Like, there's a lot of metaphor in everyday life and the struggles we face.
There's a quote that says, "Every morning we're born again. What we do today matters most." And that's one thing I live by. You know, like, you want to, like, the biggest regrets come from that. And, you know, like, one day you can say "I love you" to a frog, and then the next day you're missing that frog, you know? And then some days you don't. You know?
Yeah.
You always want to treat today as forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you talk about, like, Yoshi, everything, I obviously agree with Nick about, you know, accepting the suffering. Recently, I've had to do a little bit of acceptance of radical pain. Not trying to, like, pretend that it doesn't exist, not trying to talk myself out of it, but to feel all of it, because there is something else on the other side. I don't know what the fuck it is, but there's always something on the other side. And as I continue to harp in the ground on Citiz3n Glitch, we are very much based in human rights and in human values. Next week, we might not talk about tech at all. Maybe a little bit, but, you know, we talk about the tech as it has to do with human rights and how people should care about that, because we love to go around saying, oh, critical thinking, you know, you love to hear people say that all the time, and they're often people that can't think at all. But as I've said since the first episode, there is no critical thinking without critical feeling.
Yeah, I was about to say,
they control how you feel, they control how you think. So accepting that suffering, accepting the suffering when you're trying to learn how to use different wallets, accepting the suffering of getting rugged sometimes, of, you know, it's kind of like riding a bike. Like, you have to accept the fact that, yeah, you're gonna fall sometimes, but the important thing is, like, if you do get rugged, what did you learn from that?
right.
And sometimes there is nothing to learn except the art of letting whatever happened go.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes down to that. And because I've been emotionally crippled at times, going like, oh my God, I should have done this, I should have done that, blah, blah, blah. But there was nothing else I could do except let go. And we truly don't always know in an art piece, or however things are going to go on blockchain, like, good or bad. It's not that it's meaningless, but it goes back to something you said earlier about the pursuit of happiness, the journey of happiness, learning to honor that journey. I'm going to tell a short story really quick. One of my favorite short stories that I actually learned from someone in the Jodo Shinshu temple when I was in California. But it's a Chinese story, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts, and I kind of feel like we're at a good place. Yeah, so a farmer and his son had a beloved horse who helped the family earn a living. And one day the horse ran away, and the neighbor exclaimed, "Your horse ran away! What terrible luck!" The farmer replied, "Maybe not, maybe so. We'll see." A few days later, the horse returned home, leading a few wild horses back to the farm as well, and the neighbors shouted out, "Your horse has returned," and brought several horses home with him. "What great luck!" The farmer replied, "Maybe not, maybe so. We'll see." And then later that week, the farmer's son was trying to ride one of the horses, and she threw him to the ground, breaking his leg, and the neighbors cried, "Your son broke his leg, what terrible luck!" And the farmer replied, "Maybe not, maybe so. We'll see." And a few weeks later, the soldiers from the National Army marched through town, recruiting all the boys for the army. But they did not take the farmer's son because he had a broken leg. And the neighbors shouted, "Your boy is spared. What tremendous luck!" To which the farmer replied, "Maybe not, maybe so. We'll see." But that is kind of like how we roll with art. with the ups and downs of blockchain, market, life, but it's that pursuit of happiness, as you said, that's constant.
Absolutely. Beautiful story too.
Right?
And
I'm rambling, maybe not too much.
no, that was a regular sermon, actually.
But it's not a religion.
Everything.
I feel blessed.
What?
I feel blessed right now. I do. I remember. I've heard that before.
You've heard that story.
Unlucky, lucky.
You're,
Reminds me of a song that used to be sung at the spiritual center I used to go to.
look at your angel.
This is Precious, also known
Hi,
as Sophie.
Precious.
And I'm pet sitting for my dad this weekend.
You
I'm
are,
not at my
right.
house. But
Well, yeah.
it was this song that they'd sing. I don't remember the lyrics word for word, but I remember the message behind it, which was, if you want to see more love in the world, and you keep giving it, but you're not getting it, you're doing exactly what you want to see in the world and keep doing it. Don't stop and overanalyze reciprocity or expectations. Just do the thing that you want to see in the world. I had a moment of weakness with that last week.
Yeah.
Posted one
Yeah.
of those vent posts, you know. And I looked back and I was like, getting in my own way here.
It is hard sometimes, and like, I mean, I will admit, you know, I mean, and heartbreak isn't always romantic. Obviously, it can exist in many forms. I'm a good veteran at that. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like, every time it happens, it's like, it is a little bit harder the next time, and the next time, you know, when that happens. But at a certain point, like, I think I had to have, like, a hard talk with myself going, you know what, like, it's all gonna lead to death, or heartbreak, or betrayal, or just growing apart, you know. At some point, it's not, it just is. So why not just accept that on some level, some kind of grief is inevitable, and we have to have that, because without that other opposite end of the spectrum, there is no meaning, there's nothing to that. And if you watch the Avengers, one of the things I loved that, what was his name? Wanda's husband, right before Wanda went all crazy in the Avengers.
I don't remember.
Robot dude. Oh God, I feel so terrible. I can't remember his name. Scarlet Witch. You guys don't. Vision. That was
Vision.
his name. How perfect was his name? One of the things that he says, like, I think shortly after, I can't remember if he says it in the series WandaVision or if it's shortly before she has to blow a hole in his head to kill him. He said something like, well, what is grief if not love persevering?
Mm-hmm. It's all love, or a derivative of it.
Yeah. So I think at a certain point that we just kind of like accept that. Now, that doesn't mean if someone is shitting on you or absolutely taking advantage of you to put up with that, or that sometimes we don't have to have very fierce boundaries, right? Going back to our original conversation when I said to Yoshi, talk to me about sovereignty and matters of love, and he said, let me tell you a story, right? Because sometimes even our soulmates, right? And well, although I don't really know what that is, or do I don't know, we'll find out. Even in cases like that, right? It doesn't matter, like, and you knew who she was to you. You still had to make the sovereign decision to do the right thing, and you had to trust that it was the right thing to do.
Exactly.
You still had to do it.
It's one of the hardest
And
moments
sometimes
in my
we
life.
have to love people fiercely from a distance, for their own good, for our own good, and we don't need to prompt them to tell them what they need to do. I'm going to quote Blanks here for a second. God, Blanks, you're fucking great. Blanks said, have you ever tried to get an alcoholic to stop drinking? And I said, yeah. And he's like, yeah, and how did that end up? And I'm laughing because I told Ryan about that situation a little bit more in depth, and Ryan comes back with a very Ryan comment. Wow, that's really fucked up. Just the way that he says it. But it's like, when you made the decision to separate from Brittany for a while, it was the right thing to do. And sometimes that's how it has to be. Doesn't mean you ever stopped loving her for 5 seconds. But sometimes we have to love certain people fiercely from a distance. But if you're in touch with yourself, and when I say that, if you're centered in yourself, I don't mean self-centered as in selfish, in greed, but as a friend of mine said, how beautiful to be centered in yourself so much that you're aligned with yourself to where you are still showing up as love, but showing up as love as what is authentically needed at that very moment in time. That's all I have to say. I'm going to let you guys speak, and I think that I'm going to let you guys go in a few minutes because I'm hungry and I want to respect your time. But like, I don't know if you guys had any kind of thoughts about that a little bit.
Lots of them. But you said it well.
But you can add more. You can always add your twist on things. We're musicians. Infinite song possibilities.
That's what I was going to say a minute ago, something you said, which is that for my own sanity, when I'm having those moments of like, well, this is some shit that I'm just going to have to deal with, I can quickly change the dialogue to, well, this is a song that's about to happen.
Say again?
Instead of seeing it as a shitstorm about to happen, see it as about an art about to be inspired. Use it as fuel.
Oh, that's so powerful. Like, I've literally been pouring everything into that. I mean, you know, Jem, I call you Jem, I call you Nicholas. Like, I know that you know that too. He pours everything into that. And Yoshi, you pour everything into your art. You're such an artist.
Thank you.
No, did you have anything else you kind of wanted to add to that, Nicholas? Because to me, you operate from that place, like, consistently. And then when I don't hear from him for a couple of days, I get a little frightened, but you actually posted about it, so I'm not like revealing anything weird about your personal life. If you want to tell the audience a little bit about that, even though you posted about it.
Yeah, I have seizures a lot, and I like flopping a lot, you know? I'm not good at the word yet. Getting there. But if I could add one thing to it, there's one thing that covers everything that we've gone over. I'd say consistency. And you know, just being free, creative, you know, pretty much everything I think I wanted to talk about or was thinking today has been covered.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like,
It's been a great talk.
Yes.
But I knew it would be.
I definitely appreciate you guys having me on the show, and I would keep going, but I gotta actually take care of these pets.
No, I mean,
It's
I can't
amazing.
keep going all day because I need to eat. Otherwise, I'm gonna get very irritable. But like, since we've been on the stream, I just want to thank the audience because you keep increasing. Because
Yeah,
you're
thank you for being
enjoying
here.
the material here. Like, I like being able to have these kind of raw conversations, which today absolutely was very raw, because I think it's it's important to have when you make decisions, any kind of decisions. Always be thinking, am I making this decision from a place of love? And if you have to think about it, maybe you're not. Because at a certain point, you just got to get in the flow with the source code. Don't think so much. Because freedom of mind, there is no freedom of mind without freedom of heart. Don't be disconnected. And just like Yoshi makes heart, read his profile, check him out, go buy his works today. Nicholas, you also have stuff for sale on eBay, and you'll probably want to advertise that at some other point. I have things on sale, but today's not. We really wanted to focus on Yoshi today because, you know what? To me, right now, you're like the expert on this topic. So really wanted to have you as a focus, and you're one of the most inspirational people in the Tezos network.
Well, I really appreciate y'all letting me share my thoughts.
Of course. Okay, guys. Oh, do you want to close us out with a song, or should I just press end stream?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm really loving all the music in here. I should be doing more of it myself during
Honestly,
the stream.
yeah, you're inspiring me to get back into it even more. On top of Red, everyone around me is starting to do music again, and I love it.
It's keeping the frequencies up. A lot of dense frequencies out there right now. The music cuts through it. All right, I wrote this one for my crypto community friend. After almost 7 years of riding these waves, it's called For Dear Life.
Okay.
Time is ticking, wheels are spinning. One day we're losing, and the next we're winning. But we're keeping our sight on a bigger vision. Gotta take the risk for better future living. Through all the ups and downs, through the ridicule and victory, we hold on for life, make memories worth appreciating. 'Cause time is ticking, we'll be spinning. One day we're losing, and the next we're winning. But we're keeping our sights on a bigger vision. Gotta take the risk for better future living. All the ups and downs, through moments of severe doubt, we never rushed towards the finish line. Maxed out on XP, enjoying the climb. Through all the ups and downs, through the ridicule and disbelief, we held on for dear life, make memories worth appreciating. 'Cause time is ticking, wheels are spinning. One day we're losing, and the next we're winning. But we're keeping our sights on a bigger vision. Gotta take the risk for better future living. We're keeping our sights on a bigger vision. Gotta take the risk for better future living.
Yoshi, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Hidden frogs, hidden gems. Yoshi, this is
Everyone.
just the beginning. This is the beginning. And guys, just so you know the story of shit, right? In shitification, the lotus flower blooms, comes up from the mud, and so shall you. Until next time, remember, love is the glitch in the system. Until next time on Citizen Glitch.